Hi class, I just want to kind of walk you through the grammar and mechanics lab just so that we're all clear and on the same page. So if you go right here is our classroom, and if you go to the link grammar and mechanics lab, you'll be brought to this page where you can click on this link to find out about the grammar and mechanics lab. And then this link right down here is where you go to do this week's grammar and mechanics lab. Now you'll notice as you come into this week, I have the concept for the week, which is understanding fragments and run-ons. And this is a PowerPoint presentation that I recommend you put in slideshow view so you can see all the animation. And then you'll read more about sentence fragments and run-ons. After you do the review, you want to consider these questions. And these are questions that I want you to ask each other in your group. What are the three elements that make up an independent clause? What I recommend is there are 5 questions here and there are 4 to 5 members per group. So each of you try to answer one of these questions and then help each other out. If you notice that somebody answers a question but it's not entirely correct, kind of go in and say, well, I actually think it's this and that, and you guys can kind of learn from each other what all these questions entail. And then you'll finally complete these exercises with each other, and you can divvy it up, talk to each other in the discussion forum, in the lab, and ask each other, hey, I'm going to do questions 1 through 5, and you put them up, and then you look at them, and make sure you review each other's answers. I am not looking for correct answers so much as I'm looking for learning and collaborating with one another. That's how we do our point system. And speaking of which, if you scroll down a little bit further, this explains a little bit more about the lab itself and how I do the point system. So the lab is due at 5 p.m. every Friday when it's due. So it's actually every other Friday altogether. And it'll be graded on a 3-point scale. So 3 points, all members have participated equally, and there is considerable discussion and evidence of learning from one another. And then you'll all get 3 points. 2 points is all members have participated, but not equally. So maybe you only put up, one of you guys only put up one thing, and somebody else put up a bunch of things. There should still be a decent discussion and some evidence of learning from one another to get 2 points. And then finally, 1 point is maybe a few you haven't participated, or all of you participated but not equally, but there's little to no discussion. It's more like, oh, I went on there and I quickly posted something and I didn't pay attention to anything anybody else said or responded. And there's not really much evidence of learning from each other. It seems like contributions are completed individually without any collaboration with each other. And if there seems to be a trend where you're not posting anything in here over and over again, I will put you in a group with a bunch of other people not doing that, because I don't think it's fair to bring the grade down of other members if you're not participating. So this is the directions. Don't just provide answers. Instead, explain how you arrived at your answer. Why is that the answer? How do you know? Explain. Use the materials provided for you to help explain. Refer back to it often. Okay, that's what I want you to do. And then also, I have a few tips here. If someone in your group posts an answer you know is inaccurate, gently help them to understand the correct answer. Explain. If someone corrects someone and you know that the correction is inaccurate, gently help them explain. If someone posts an answer that you know is correct, chime in and explain why you agree. Don't be afraid to go against the grain, and don't blindly follow everyone. Think, read, review, learn. The whole point of this is that the best way to retain information is to teach it to other people. So that's what you're doing, is you're teaching it to each other, and I want to see evidence of that. That is more important to me than everybody having right answers, because I'm not correcting your answers. I'm not looking at that and giving you points based on that. It's all about how well you collaborate with each other. Well, once we go back up here to the top, this is where you click on your grammar and mechanics lab. And you'll be brought to a page. Right now you can see that I have all the different labs here, 1, 2, 3. That's because I'm an instructor. You will only have one link in here, whether it's 1, 2, 3, depending on what group you were randomly enrolled in. So you'll click on your group let's say you're in 1, and you'll be brought to this page where you'll have all your group members here so you can see them. And if you scroll down here, there's a spot where you can send email. Now, I just want to notice that in this group, I've made it so that there's only file exchange, group discussion, and send email, because those are the only 3 tools that you'll need. Unfortunately, the way Blackboard works when I set it up is that it defaults and gives you all the tools. As some of you will look in your group, you'll see a whole bunch of different tools. And I have 3 classes that I'm teaching, and there are 7 groups in each 3 classes. So that's 21 groups that I have to go in manually and change that. So what I did is I just left it alone and made this webcast instead. So file exchange is if you did something in a file and you want to exchange it so the group can see it, you can do that. I cannot see that, so I cannot really grade you on that. I put that there just for your help. Group discussion board is where you're going to be doing your work, and that's what I can grade and look at. And then, of course, sending email if you want to respond to each other and like reach out to a member and say, hey, so-and-so, I haven't seen you posted. It's due by Friday. Come on, get in there because we're going to mess up our grade. So you can kind of email each other. But if you click on the discussion forum, you'll be brought to your discussion. Only you and your group mates can see this as well as me. You'll click on there and you'll be brought to where you'll be discussing. Basically, what you want is one of you will be creating the thread. The first person that does it is the leader. So you want to get in there, take the initiative, start that, lead the forum, say, hey guys, I'm going to do question number 1. Who wants to do 2, 3, 4, 5? As far as the questions to consider on the page, work it out, start talking to each other about what you're learning, post some of the stuff from the exercises. But bottom line, demonstrate to me that you are talking to one another and you're learning about fragments and run-ons this week. And every time we have a grammar mechanic lab, you'll be talking about whatever that concept is for the week. And that's it. That's your grammar and mechanics lab. Get to doing it and have some fun.